Good morning.
Good morning.
Boy, it's a great day to be a bulldog. Y'all give yourselves a round of applause. Hold on, Philip. Wait, Philip, so you going to sit down. Come on now, man. We're going to do this together. Okay?
It's a different scenario when you get my age.
And once again, I'm LaWanna Grinnell Ware, and this is my road dog, Philip West.
I'm Philip West. What's left of me anyway?
And we are here today because it's a brand new day in Natchez, Mississippi. Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life, and I'm feeling good. Dum, da-dum, 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 da-da-da-da-dum. Philip was supposed to be doing the bass.
I just want y'all to know I'm not going to embarrass myself by trying to sing.
He'll come back. He charged me with the first part of our program, and it is so good to have so many elected officials in our house today. Those of you who have made it responsible for us to be here. We have Volkert, we have M3A, the architect, everyone who was a part of this building. Stand up. Give yourselves a round of applause. Come on, y'all know your first couple of rows here. Stand up. Give yourselves a round of applause. They made it happen. They pushed all the nails, screws, panels, everything to get this done for today, for this ribbon cutting ceremony. Our guest speaker is going to be a little bit late, but that's okay, because he just flew in from Washington, D.C. They canceled his flight last night. So he is en route as we speak. So that's his seat right there. And push come to shove, Philip's going to get up and act like Benny Thompson, Congressman Benny Thompson today. I would like to acknowledge our school board members today. Mr. Amos James, Mr. Philip West, me, myself, and I, Dr. Brenda Robinson, and Dr. Cecile Bunch. The program will continue as follows. Everyone has a program, right? Well, if you don't have a program, guess what? We have a QR code. Where's that QR code? It's in the foyer. Well, we don't want you to get up and go get the QR code, but just share it, okay? So we have the presentation of colors, Natchez High School ROTC, selection by our own songbird, Mr. Tony Fields, welcome by Dr. Cecile Bunch, the purpose by Dr. Brenda Robinson, and then we will come back with the remarks.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the
Thank you, Tony. On behalf of the Board of Trustees of the Natchez Adams School District, it is my distinct honor to welcome all of you. We have state representatives and community leaders and guests to our beautiful new Natchez High. Welcome.
Good morning. Welcome to this state-of-the-art facility. It has been over 60-plus years since a new school been built in Natchez Adams County. Academic achievement is first and foremost in the Natchez Adams School District. Students who will be attending this school will have experiences in classrooms that contain digital, innovative technologies, conducive for learning. This facility is equipped to assist teachers prepare our students to be competitive on the state, local, national, and global levels. Today, history is made, and we are all a part of it. So the primary, most significant purpose that you are here is to celebrate this historical and great accomplishment of Natchez Adams School District and Natchez Adams County. Thank you very much.
Before I start with the remarks, I just want to say, it is so many educators in this building today as I look around. Past, present, and future educators. I see teachers I hadn't seen since I graduated from high school. I see teachers who taught both of my kids in Natchez. So what I want to do right now, all the educators from the past, stand up. You are the reason that a lot of us are in this building today. Teachers of the present, stand up. All the current teachers, stand up. You are the reason why our children are doing great things in the United States and beyond. Teachers of the future, y'all better stand up. Where are my students? All the students, stand up. I know y'all in here. Come on, students, stand up. This is our future. This is why we work, to better our education here at Natchez Adams School District. And I just want to thank every last one of y'all once and again for coming. And now we will have remarks by the mayor and the Board of Aldermen in that order, and then the Adams County Board of Supervisors in that order, state legislatures in that order, and I'll be back.
Good morning. I'm Dan Gibson. I'm honored to be the 44th mayor of this beautiful city and to be here with you today. As a product of public education myself, having started in 1971 in the Jackson Public Schools, going on to graduate in 1983 at Murrah High School, I can tell you I know the value of a public school system that rises to meet the needs of its community. I was so fortunate to be in that first class, to go fully integrated from 1971 to 1983. And in fact, in 2 weeks and a half, we will celebrate our 40th reunion at Murrah High School, and I'm so excited about that. As I sit here today, those memories flood back to me now, because it's hard to imagine that that has been 40 years ago that I was a high school student. And now here we are in the newest high school facility in the state of Mississippi. But I will say this, it's not a day for out with the old, in with the new. Because if it were not for all of those who have strived so much to build the system, to work through the challenges of integration, in bringing this community together to a place where now we can celebrate this amazing new facility together as one Natchez. If it were not for those leaders, we would not be here today. It seems like only 3 years ago we sat out in the sun, and I was so grateful to be given a shovel that day. Mr. Butcher, it's hard to imagine that now here we are on what was a vacant ground, and we're in this shining facility, and I salute you, your vision, and your leadership. I also salute our board members, including one who just stepped off earlier this year, Thelma Newsom. Our school board members are a blessing, and I salute our new interim superintendent, Zan McDonald. My brother from another, Tony Fields, and this amazing team. That hard hat and that shovel have a special place of honor in my office. Even kept the nameplate that was in my chair that day. And I kept it because I knew this is a part of history. And to now come full circle to this day and to be a part of this history, I am truly blessed. We are truly blessed. Thank you so much. Alderwoman Valencia Hall, Ward 1.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, school board, Board of Aldermen, Board of Supervisors, and elected officials. And welcome most of all to all of you. As Ms. McDonald Green said recently, this is a brand new day and we are moving forward. We're not looking back. But before I do look forward, I will dispel in this public body nefarious statements that were made about me 3 years ago, that I do not value public education, that I did not go to public school, which is true. I am a product, as were my sisters and parents, of Catholic education, and we're proud of it. My father attended every grade at St. Francis, but his senior year, where he graduated from Broomfield, and we're proud of it. My nieces and nephews attended Catholic education and the Natchez Adams public school system. We're proud of it. Miss Ira Scott Young taught many of them at Holy Family. We're proud of it. My great nieces and nephews, products of this school system, we're proud of it. We still have 2 young scholars in the Natchez Adams School District, and we're proud of it. So yes, I value public education. I worked in public education almost 20 years in Concordia Parish as a behavioral interventionist. I am a child advocate, and Mr. Butcher can attest to that, going as far as the Civil Rights Division of the U.S. Department of Justice to fight for the rights of children. I am a child advocate, and I'm proud to be in Natchez Adams today to celebrate the opening of your brand new facility, which is a school district for all. I had a public working relationship with Mr. Butcher for many years, Mrs. Butcher, and I've seen other educators from Concordia Parish, and I'm proud of the working relationships that we had. I had a working relationship with Mr. Butcher in this school district, continuing to work with Ms. McDonald and the school board and Mr. Fields. We are here to educate our students. We are here to bring products into the community, into the state, to be whatever they want to be, and we know they can be. We are One Natchez. We continue to advocate for One Natchez. This is the first time in many years the Board of Aldermen, the Board of Supervisors, and the school district has worked as a unit, and we're proud of it. So thank you all very much, and we're looking forward to a brand new era in our continued working relationships and moving forward for all of our students.
Good morning. First, I would like to thank Mr. Butcher for your vision and getting the school ready for the people of Natchez Adams County High. I would like to thank Board President Amos James for your excellent leadership. Philip West, Ms. LaWanda Grinnell, and Dr. Brenda Robinson, and Dr. Celia Bunch for your vision of doing great things for Adams County. Also, I would like to thank the county attorney, Mr. Coombs, because this project and Bob Layton, this project would have never got off the ground without the lawyers being involved in this and the city. And because, as you know, there was a bean field, and we had a lot of problems in trying to secure this property. Thanks to the city attorney, Bob Layton and Mr. Kuhn, and the former mayor, Dale Grinnell, who also stepped in, who had to sign the paperwork to get this done, along with myself, the Mayor Grinnell, Alderwoman, former Alderwoman Joyce Arsenault Matthews, Alderman Ben Davis, Alderman Felicia Urban, and the late and Alderwoman Sarah Carter Smith, and also the late Dan Dillon, who's no longer here. We've seen this vision coming, so we took part in this. And as you see now, this is what we have to benefit everyone in the community. And last but not least, I would like to say, go Bulldog Nation. God bless you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so excited to be here today. I'm Alderwoman Sarah Carter Smith. I graduated in 1984, and no, you don't need to add up and see how old I am, but right next door at South Natchez Adams High School, and I'm proud to be a product of the public school system. My mother, Carolyn Gwynn, she taught in the public school system here for 25 plus years. She served on the State Board of Education. She also ended her career teaching at Colin. And I know she taught many of the teachers here, and everywhere we go, she has people come up to her and say, "Oh, you taught me, you meant so much to me." I know how important teachers are to this community. And I just want to say congratulations. I want to say congratulations to the administrators, To the teachers and to the students, this is a special day. And I want to say to the board, the school board, I know serving on the Board of Aldermen, a lot of work, a lot of tough decisions, a lot of discussion, a lot of things go into doing something so big as this project that's going to mean so much to this community. But as my mama always tells me and has told me since I was a little kid, with great gifts comes great responsibility. And you all are going in the right direction. The scores are going up in this community. What goes on in these beautiful walls is what really counts, and that's the students and the teachers that are here every day doing all the work. So I just want to say to y'all, keep that great work going on. Congratulations, and thank you to everyone who put in a lot of work for this great project. Thank you so much.
Good morning. Protocol has already been established, so I will not go any further but to say welcome. My name is Felicia Bridgewater Irving. I'm the alderperson in Ward 4. I am excited about the new facility that we have here. I know that a new school would provide an even safer facility for all students to attend. I want to piggyback on some of the words that Dr. Robinson stated. With the new school comes new technology that will enhance our students to not only compete statewide, locally, nationwide, and globally. That is going to make a difference in a lot of our students' lives. It gives them the opportunity to be able to explore. When kids have the opportunity to see things, they can believe it. They can dream. They're able to achieve it. So I want to leave you with these words. I pray that God continue to bless this city, bless all the schools here in Natchez School District, because as we see, our children are making great strides. And what I love about it, we're beginning to look at progress, how they are making progress on those test scores so that they can make even higher achievements. And we're proud of that. And I want to say that I'm proud of being a Natchez School District graduate as well, class of 1983. Thank you and God bless.
First of all, I'd like to thank God. And also, I'm going to make it short. I'm not long-winded. I would like to thank Mr. Butcher, Mr. McDonald, and the school board. They did an outstanding job of putting this school together. It's been a long time coming for the city of Natchez. Me, myself, I'm a product of public school. My whole family, my daughters, and my grandkids, they are a product of public school. I graduated from North Natchez in 1986, and the public school system has put out a lot of outstanding people for our community: lawyers, doctors, teachers, military people, politicians, and they're going to continue on doing great things. But it's very special to me because I love this public school district. I can stay up and talk all day about the school system, but I'm not. I'm going to give everybody else opportunity to talk. And I want to thank everybody for coming. And it's a great day for Natchez. All right.
Good morning. Boy, he's a lot taller than me. A couple of words come to mind in an event like this. First of all, with this new facility is the word opportunity. Felicia used that word, and it is truly a great opportunity for everyone involved in the Natchez Adams school system. This building, this new facility presents all of us with a tremendous opportunity. It also brings up some other words: obligation. We now all have an obligation to support the Natchez Adams Public Schools, as we all have. But with this new facility, it brings renewed hope, energy, dedication. All of that also brings up another word, responsibility. Everyone in this community has a responsibility to support our public education, to support our teachers, our administration, and to take care of this facility. Let's make this one last another 60 years. Let's churn out great students with great minds and great hope for the future. Thank you.
And at this time, we would like to acknowledge former Mayor Tony Byrne, if you would stand, please, from the Natchez, Mississippi. And now we will have the supervisors, Cowboy Gaines.
Good morning. I had an opportunity to be with you all on Friday, and I enjoyed it. Y'all got to give yourself a hand. But on this morning, we have another historic moment, and I won't call names, but first of all, we all should thank God, because with Him, all things are possible. And everyone who worked in it, no matter if you wrote a letter, no matter if you sent a letter, no matter if you did electrical work, if you did concrete work, it took all of us to make this happen. And having a good public school education means a lot of things for the whole community. We did a feasibility study, and one of the main things to have economic growth is a good public school system. So this is a start in the right direction. But this is history in the making. It was a lot of hard work, but to achieve what we achieved together as Natchezians, we have to work together. This is a start, but we're going to work till it finishes. Thank you.
As Ms. Ware stated, what a day to be a Bulldog. My name is Wes Middleton. I am your District 1 Supervisor in Adams County. I just want to say congratulations to the Natchez Adams School Board, Mr. Butcher for your leadership in the past, Ms. McDonald for your leadership in the future, a position that is well deserved, and I look forward to seeing what you do. To the faculty and staff, congratulations. You all have deserved this, you earned this, and it's time to continue on the path that you have been on. To the students who are here, this is your school. To the students who aren't here, let them know this is your school. Take pride in it, take care of it, and make us all proud. Thank you.
Good morning. I am Angela Gibson Hutchins, District 3 Supervisors. First, I want to say thank you for inviting me to the opening of this new Natchez High School, better known as Bulldog Nation. All right. Secondly, I say this is a long time that this should have happened. It should have been happened. And I want to say thank you, Mr. Butcher, for letting this making this happen. 12 years ago, me and my former board, we toured all the schools and to see what condition they were in. I asked the students, I said, what do you like and dislike about your school? They said, we love our school, but it is hard to focus with the conditions of the old school. So this was definitely needed. I said, what effect it has on you? They said, we can't focus because of some of the conditions. So that bothered me, and I say, back a long time ago, 12 years ago, we need a new school. And it happened. So thank God for that. It happened. I want to say also, I am so proud that this has happened. But I'm going to say, I'm a graduate of 1981. That was the best class to walk the halls of North Natchez. All right, classmate? All right, that was the best class. I heard everybody up here say they graduate this year and that year, but 1981 was the best class to walk the halls of North Natchez. So today, I'm also gonna say the class of 2024 will be the first class to walk the halls of Natchez High, better known as Bulldog Nations. So they can be proud of that. They can really be proud of that. So again, I'd like to say thank you, Mr. Butcher. Thank you, Ms. McDonald Green. Thank you to the Board of Trustees. And thank you to all who has contributed to this. Thank you.
First of all, I would like to thank God for allowing me to be here in my right mental, physical, and most important, spiritual man. Because without him, none of this would be possible. I want to thank the Adams County School District for inviting me here to take part in this special occasion. This is a day that the Lord has made. Let us all rejoice and be glad in it. Timing is everything. The best thing in life takes time. Takes time to do well. It even takes more time to be well. The Bible says everything, there's a season for everything and a purpose under the heavens. Time to be born, time to die, time to kill, time to heal, time to break down, and most important, a time to build up. Mr. West, you're a former baseball player. He played baseball, y'all. I said that to say this. You know how important it is with timing because the pitcher gonna pitch the ball and the batter gotta hit the ball. And if he swing before the ball get there, he'll never hit it. But it's all about timing, so he got the time, the ball coming, to be able to hit it. Now, some people say that this should have been built a long time ago. But I think different. I say either you on man time or you on God time. God always is on time. So this school was built at the right time, in the right place, right here on this former bean field. And I just want to say in closing, I want to say this is a win-win for Natchez and Adams County. And I pray that we come together as a community and realize that our children are the future and get behind them and make sure that we can do everything we can possible to make them move forward. Mr. James, Mayor, you know what I'm finna say now, right? I'm a former point guard, so I know how important it is to get everybody involved. I had to get the 2 guard, the 3, the shooter, the power forward, and the center involved. So at the end of the day, teamwork make the dream work. Thank you.
As Ricky said, he's an on-time God. Yes, he is. Yeah, an on-time God. Yes, he is. Job says you may not come when you want him, but he'll be there right on time. He's an on-time God. Yes, he is. All right, Melvin. All right, our state legislature, and we know legislation, they are continuing to try to get bills passed, and they are the hardest working people that I think in the state of Mississippi and beyond. So, you know, we try to get with these legislatures, bring them down here, show them what we have and what we don't have, and because of them, we get what we get. So at this time, we will have Senator Albert Butler and afterwards Senator Kelvin Butler.
Good morning, Adams County and the city of Natchez. My name is Albert Butler, and I'm the senator for the 37th district now of the state of Mississippi. As I come to you this morning, and I listen to all the things that have been said, one of the things I can say, yes, it is time. It's time for Southwest Mississippi. It's time for us to realize who we are and what we can do to make our state the state that people will be coming to and not going away from. And we can do that. I bring you greetings from the capital city, where the ideals are there to provide the funds to assist. But I cannot dare say that without first saying, Adams County, Natchez, I applaud you. I applaud you for seeing the vision that we need to impress upon the minds of our children, a quality education and a joy to come to school and do all you can to make yourself a better individual. I applaud you, Adams County. I applaud you, Natchez, for seeing that and allowing the citizens to pay a little more, but also come to the state and say we need a little more to make our vision come true. And I, as your senator, I want to assure you that I will work even harder to make sure that quality education funds are there to provide that for you. But not only that, someone mentioned economic development. We want to bring our area together, provide the skills and the education so that our children and others will be coming to this area and not leaving this area. With that, I say congratulations, and let's work together. Let's be that team.
Well, good morning. I'm your state senator, Kelvin Butler, from Macomb. I represent portions of Walthall, Pike, Amet, Adams, and all of Wilkinson counties. You know, I can be a little objective today because I don't live in your community, but I see the love. I see a board of supervisors working together. I see a school board working together. I see a city board working together. Now, as I represent 5 counties, a lot of times when I tell the mayor and I tell people I wish I can post some of this stuff in some of the other districts that I represent on how important it is to work together for the betterment of our community. Give yourself a hand. Again, good morning, everyone, and thank you for allowing me to speak at this historic opening of Natchez High School. I'm elated to know that some of the brightest minds in Mississippi and in America will be further trained in this facility by some of the best teachers and administrations in the country. I'm pleased to know that the investment in education in Mississippi has never been greater, and that during the 2022 legislative session, I was among the lawmakers who voted for Mississippi's largest ever pay raise that increased salaries by an average of $5,100 a year for our teachers. I look forward to the good things happening here in Natchez High, and my prayers are with each and every person who works here and for each student to be the best that they can be and to rise above all adversities to make our new Natchez High School and the magnet for magnificent students and a beacon that brings out the best in the children as they prepare for the next level of education and for their next stage of life. Be blessed.
Great morning to everyone. I have a letter here to read from Representative Angela Cockerham that represents District 96, which is Adams, Amite, Pike, and Wilkinson County. To the Natchez Adams School District Board of Trustees, Interim Superintendent McDonald Green, Immediate Past Superintendent Mr. Butcher, teachers, parents, and students. Educating our children is fundamental into ensuring the development of our communities and our great state. The 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution has had a profound impact in protecting public elementary and secondary education. Yet, we must continue to do more, as educating our children has become more expensive and technologically advanced in recent years, especially post-COVID-19. Without exception, I am most proud today of the Natchez Adams School District Board of Trustees, the City of Natchez, Adams County, and our state leadership for cradling around our students to provide them with new, well-designed facilities, diverse opportunities, creative energy, and resources by undertaking the building and completion of our new Natchez High School. Our children will have the best facilities in which to learn. Hold on to your chairs as students dig deeper into complex issues and emerge as leaders. Thank you, Natchez and Adams County, for giving me the opportunity to be a part of this historic moment as we continue to honor our commitment to our children and their education. Most sincerely, Angela Cockerham, Judiciary Aid Chair, House District 96.
Let the church say amen. Let the church say amen. All right, for those who don't know me, I'm Philip West. Sometimes I wish I were Philip East. But next on our program, we're going to hear from two special persons. The first will be Judge Vincent Davis, who served as Chancery Judge for a little over 13 years, and also he served in the state Senate. And he and I got to know each other a lot better doing some other kinds of things related to his job. And it's so nice to have the opportunity to ask him to give us some special remarks. Let's put your hands together for Judge Vincent Davis.
Good morning. First of all, I'd just like to thank you all for this opportunity to be able to come before you today to take part in this program. When I was afforded the opportunity, I asked Mr. West, how long can I talk? He said 2 minutes. So I prepared some remarks to make sure I stay on script, because if I don't have remarks sometimes, if you put a microphone in front of me, I might talk too long. But considering that we're waiting on Congressman Thompson, Mr. West, can I have at least another minute or two? Yes. I can go off script a little bit. I had the opportunity this past Friday to tour this facility. I wanted to see it. I wanted to check it out. And as I was leaving, it dawned upon me that all the employees were wearing these shirts with the theme of one voice, one goal, and one team. And then later on that night, I just happened to be going through Facebook, and I saw that there was a convocation that day, and the interim superintendent, apparently she was talking about one voice, one goal, and one team. And what I have seen here throughout this process was that motto. Now, we heard this morning from Ms. Robinson that it's been over 60 years since a school was built here in Natchez, Mississippi. And before that, we heard LaWanna Grinnell Weir singing A Brand New Day in Natchez, Mississippi. As I stand here this morning and reflect, and I think I saw on Facebook that not just Bulldog Nation, but the Bulldog Capital or something like that. And I just want to tell you, Bulldog Capital, you did it. You have done an outstanding job. And I know, trust me, I know that getting to this day has been a long process, and it has taken a lot of things falling into place. When I was afforded the opportunity to make some remarks, I went back and I just did a little research, and I found an article in the August 23rd, 2016 edition of the Natchez Democrat appeared an article with a headline of Board Backs Building New High School if Financing is Found. And that article was referring to a meeting that the board had the day before. During that meeting, Superintendent Butcher, who I see out here, was reported as saying, in an ideal world, he'd like to build a new high school. But not just that, but to build a new high school in the bean field next door to the current school. Then renovate the old high school and move the middle school to that location. Well, Mr. Butcher, this must be an ideal world after all. Because what you spoke into existence 7 years ago, 7 being the year of completion, has happened. A new high school in the bean field in Natchez, Mississippi. In that same article, Trustee Philip West was quoted as saying of the project, it's about more than the children. He said, this is a community deal. And if you didn't notice, what Mr. Butcher was talking about was one vision and one goal. Community deal, one team. Well, Mr. West, what I see here today is support from many, many members of the community, but also from all levels of government, local, state, and federal. This is a community investment in the children that will fill these buildings and walk these halls for many years to come, and thus an investment in one of the fundamental functions of government, which is public education. And with that, I would just like, again, to thank the Natchez Adams School District for an opportunity for all of us to be here to share with you in this occasion, and that occasion being cutting the ribbon to the new high school in Natchez, Mississippi. Thank you.
Thank you. Y'all feel okay? We got a little while to go. Not long, but, we got a little while to go. Okay, my next introduction is something that I thought, somebody I thought I would never live long enough to see happen. I just never did. And I tell people all the time I'm in the last chapter of my life. And some people, some of my friends tell me, they say, well, I hope you're on the last page. I had a golfing friend of mine to tell me at my house the other day, I said, Roy, I don't feel that way sometimes now. He said, well, do me a favor, Philip. I said, what? Hold on to play golf with me one more last time before you go. Roy Bond, that's what he told me. But in any case, I'm deeply honored to be here because I know so much about how we got to where we are. But I want to, in 1989 and 90 and whatever, when we had this transition from eliminating North Natchez and from having North Natchez and a South Natchez to a Natchez high school, there was a certain young man who was a person who graduated in that class, and he happens to be my son. And I'm angry today a little bit because he came here late. And he's come all the way from Marietta, Georgia, and he gets here late. I can't tell you why he's so late, partly because he kept me up all night talking. But in any case, he has served as a defense attorney, prosecuting attorney on the state of Mississippi Parole Board, and now he is a juvenile judge in Cobb County, a community of 800,000 people. And he was the first African-American male to get this position. And believe me, Walter, you know how they say I used to be? He way worse than me in arguing or whatever. But he does care about young people, which is why he's a juvenile judge. So please, I'm going to forgive him if he says the right thing. Welcome my son, Judge Kareem West.
All right. Good morning still. I'm still on East Coast time, so I apologize. Good morning. And I'll say this. My dad has always been my biggest fan, and as my best friend Eric Smith knows, he's also been my biggest critic. But that's what parents do when they love you, right? So he knows that whatever goes on between us is always, yes, Dad, period. I would not be here if it wasn't for him. So I owe him everything. Again, and that buzzer was for you because you were being mean, as my daughter would say. That's my daughter's favorite saying. Dad, you're being mean. I'm Kareem West. Obviously, a little emotional for me, standing here, letting all of the youth know that I'm a product of Natchez High School 1990. So is Principal Smith. So is Principal Reynolds now, but at the time she was Angela Allen. Little quick story about Angela. No stories about me and Eric, absolutely not. None. Okay, if you need to know that, then you're gonna have to go to him. But quick story about Angela. So I met Angela, what do we meet, third grade? And she don't even remember this, but I do. We're on the bus. Wow, that's just like it was yesterday. We're on the bus. I don't know what I said. And Greg ain't in here, is he? Oh, Greg, this has happened years ago now. Okay? Years ago, wherever you at. Long time ago. There he is. There you go. What's up, bro? Long time ago. All right, your children here too? Okay, y'all, this happened before y'all even thought about it, so don't, right? So we're on the bus. I don't know what I said, but she turned around and said something and basically put me in my place. And I was like, whoa. And so from that point forward, I definitely knew who she was, okay? And I knew how intelligent she was. Obviously, Greg knows that too. And how successful she is. Again, another product, young people, of Natchez High School, okay? That's a product of Natchez High School. I don't know if any other people here from my class of 1990, but the significance of that, which is what my father was talking about, is that we were part of what I call the Concerned Citizens Crew. So, and some of us in here know what that was in 1989 when the schools became one, right? Amen, church? Okay, so that's factual, analytical history, and you have to be okay with it, right? There we go. Okay, so during that time, we had some growing pains. We were the second class, or maybe even first, third class, to graduate from Natchez High, because my mother graduated Natchez High as well. Well, at that time, I guess that was South Natchez. My aunt Brenda, who is present, I don't know where she is, but she is present, maybe was present. She also graduated Natchez High at one point. My aunt Pat is, I'm trying to find her. There she is. My aunt Pat also graduated Natchez, what do they call it then, Dad? Natchez High. So, leave it to my dad to get my facts straight now. So, there's a historical progression for Natchez High of success. So then in 1990, we had to do it all over again. Lots of growing pains. We learned how to be one team, one goal, one community at that time. And Angela knows this, and Eric knows this too. It was not easy. As a matter of fact, it was extremely difficult. And that's just factual history. If y'all want to know how difficult, talk to at least the three of us who were there. And there's probably some others here too. All of us in that class, big class. But through that all, birthed this. So all that pain, suffering, hardship led us to this point. And at the end of the day, nothing worth having is not going to be worth working for. There's going to be sacrifices. There's going to be dedications. There's going to be struggles. There's going to be loss. But all of a sudden, through that storm comes sunlight and success. When a pilot's in a plane, they try to avoid the turbulence. But sometimes you can't predict it, as my brother tells me. We argue about that a lot too. So when you hit turbulence, I have this thing on my wall for the young people. I'm very, as my dad said, very into making sure young people feel confident, feel they can take over this world like they will, right? They're going to. You all, some of y'all younger, y'all are going to take over this world. It's yours already. It's not mine. As my dad said, most of my life is behind me, right? It's behind me. I'm 51. I never thought, Eric, that would be old. I never even considered myself getting to that point. I'm definitely not turning around to Angela. But like I said, I definitely never thought, I never thought about being 51. But guess what? I'm 51. So investment comes best in the persons that have the most time and opportunity to be successful from it. That's what I found. When I'm in court, Nick Saban, which I love his saying, he says, and my dad and I were talking about it all last night, amongst some other things. A young person doesn't care what you know until they know that you care, right? So a young person can seek you out in a second if you don't care. They know it. They might not tell you, but trust me, they know it. They know it. I take the time to get to know them. I'm known as the judge that goes the longest. So a little history about juvenile court. We have 4 judges. We're all full-time employees. We cannot practice law. I can't even go sell a bean pie or whatever. I can't do anything, right? It is a full-time gig. And so we see thousands of young people a month, thousands. The county has 800 and some odd thousand people. The Braves play there, right? It is the highest per capita income in the state. It's a lot of things going on, including youth development. So you have to have resources, time, talent, and tenth to pour into our young people, again, who are the future of our world, regardless of whether we want to admit that or not. What I do is I try to let young people know, and I'm telling y'all this now. Normally I would ask y'all questions, but I'm not in that type of forum. I like to have conversations. I don't like to have dictations. But today is a day for that. So what I would say to young people always, number one, don't let anybody tell you what you can't do. Ever. Don't ever let anybody tell you what you can't do. Never let anybody tell you that. And if they're telling you that, tune them out. Just tune them out, right? Now, that doesn't mean don't listen to your parents, because that's the other thing. Now, sometimes your parents may tell you, man, that might not be a good decision. Or maybe I'm the only one that does that as a parent. Maybe it's just me. But when your parents are trying to be in your best interest, number two, at least be open-minded to it. You know who cares for you and who does not. Your parents are always going to be there. It doesn't matter about their circumstances. It doesn't matter about what's going on with them. Parents are people too, but I guarantee you, as Charles Barkley says, they will be there with you when you need it. I promise you that. Number three, I have this thing on my wall, which I said about 10 minutes ago, which I'm getting back to. It's handwritten. It's not framed. I got a lot of pictures in my office. One of my dad, one of my mom, my brother and his kids, a lot of different things. Kobe Bryant. Everybody got a picture of Kobe Bryant, right? No? Okay, I'm just making sure now. You know, the greatest of all time now. Don't you know, but that's right. Still is. So I have a handwriting in my office. It says, adversity is always coming. It's always coming, right? That means you can't avoid it. You cannot. It's coming. I told a young man one day, he was in front of me, I said, look, don't run from it. Hug adversity. Hug it. Give it a kiss. Why? Because you can't run from it. So how you respond to that adversity can determine the trajectory of your life. Had Eric, myself, Angela, not responded to that adversity the right way, who knows where we would have been. But we responded to it appropriately. And we learned how to coexist and to open our minds to different thoughts, which is a last key. Adults and young people, always be open to different trains of thought. Always. Including one where I'm asking my dad for a few more minutes. I'm going to see if he's open to that. He's not. So, let me say one last thing, and then I'm going to sit down, because I probably could stay here all day. It's extremely emotional. I couldn't even sleep. I was so excited to see this school. So, hero is defined as a person of reliable character, extraordinary dedication, who sometimes takes life-altering risks consistently. The great Dr. Hiawatha Northington once told me that, well, he told me about this hero I'm speaking of. He said, before you, and he wasn't talking about me, there were none like you. And after you, there will be no more. That's what Dr. Hiawatha Northington said, one of the smartest intellectual guys that I've ever met. Now, the young Kareem West, and my brother knows this, and the person I'm speaking of knows this because I went to him directly. I was upset because in my mind, there was someone who could be like him, right? In my mind, there were several of us because I have three siblings. I have two sisters, Dana and Nessa, and I have one brother, Sam. So obviously young, not too mature, Kareem West took it as an insult. And he took that dictation to his father. His father did not blow his cap. His father maturely told him what was accurate. So now at 51, I understand what Dr. Northington was saying. Because heroes that I've come to grips with this cannot be duplicated. There's no duplication. They're made for a purpose. They serve that purpose. And it's not my job to duplicate that. It's not anyone's job because it cannot be done. And that's okay. My cousin Efi is a teacher. My cousin Chevelle is here, she's a teacher. My cousin Gwen is here, I see. The mature Kareem West understands lots of things that the Natchez High Kareem West that graduated did not. But I understand one thing, the most important in the world more than anything. My parents were my heroes. And obviously my mom would have been extremely proud of the way the board, the committee, has accomplished this, because guess what? She was an educator too. But lastly, what I'm most happy about obviously young people, heroes, whoever you consider your hero, whether it's your parents or whomever, always have tremendous support. And I've seen a lot of supportive people over the years for my father. Doesn't always go the way it should go, but this one sure enough did. The community has been good to my family. And we, hopefully, specifically my hero, my father, has been good to this community. Have I said the right thing yet? Okay. Thank you. He just apologized in his own sort of way. But he doesn't have to. He doesn't owe me an apology because he's earned the right to feel and do whatever he wants. It's my job to make sure that he enjoys what he thinks he has left. So as I take my seat, and I'm just glad I could make it through that because I practiced it 3 times last night and I didn't make it through one, but I made it through the day. I guess he had to get mad. That's how God works. So that way I can focus on trying to make sure he doesn't be mad all the time. But I am so pleased. I saw this building last night, this community, the way y'all have turned out for this, the way you all have orchestrated this and made this happen. This is not an easy task. This is monumental. Monumental. You all, I can't say enough. Last thing, young people, when I talk about adversity, there's a lot of adversity that took getting all this together. They made it look easy, but it ain't easy. Okay, parents make it look easy, it ain't easy. But your parents, these administrators and elected officials, all these people, they made it happen through their differences, through the doubt, right? Okay? through the mishaps, through the ups and downs, through the fights, through the arguments, through everything. Young people, adversity is always coming. How you handle it will determine the trajectory of your life. Thank you guys very much.
So y'all used to think I talked too long. Where's the choir? Okay, we're ready for you. I want you all to know that part of the reason I didn't stop him earlier is because our congressman, who LaJuan mentioned earlier, was having a problem getting here from Atlanta, Georgia to Jackson, Mississippi, and so forth. And I just got a text that a little bit ago that he was in Port Gibson. I told him we needed to see him if he could get here in any way, and he's making a tremendous sacrifice to come here. So that's why I didn't stop my son earlier. Okay, thank you.
Good morning. Tony Fields, Natchez High School graduate, class of 1994. I just wanted to say that while I pass the mic to Mr. Hills.
Thank you, kind sir. Good morning. My name is Trevante Hills, and in the words of my superintendent, McDonald Green, great things are happening here at Bulldog Nation. And I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge a giant in the room today on whose shoulders I stand on as a music educator. The greatness in the person of Miss Joyce Arsenault Mathis is here. If you could stand for me, let everyone see you. Thank you so much, Miss Arsenault. I believe Senator Butler mentioned earlier the love felt in this room today. The love for this great community, the love for education, the love for our students. Speaking of which, standing behind me here are the students of the Natchez High School Concert Choir, a portion of the Natchez High School Concert Choir. Can you join me in giving them a round of applause? We will sing for you this morning an a cappella rendition of a selection entitled Set Me as a Seal Upon Your Heart, taken from the book of Song of Solomon. For love is strong as death. Ladies and gentlemen, the Natchez High School Choir.
Set me as a seal upon your heart, as a seal upon your heart. For love is strong as death.
Test. Let's give them another round of applause. There's nothing better than people singing together in harmony. Y'all understand what I'm talking about? Nothing better than people singing together in harmony. Now, the congressman, is my understanding, has made it to the city. And I'm telling you, he made a tremendous sacrifice. I was just hoping and praying he wouldn't have no wreck, no accident, trying to get to us directly from the Jackson airport. And actually, I'm going to tell you before he gets here, he said he was going to change clothes while he was driving in the car. Don't y'all tell him I told on him. But while I have a moment, I do want to say this, that all of us recognize that Natchez is a very historic city. And all of us recognize that history is very important, and our new mayor is kind of highlighting that in many of his efforts, and most of us have embraced that in many of our efforts. History is not to be judged based on, I'm going to let you know this about history if it's good, but I'm not going to let you know this about history if it's bad. History is there to be put out there, to be appreciated one way or the other. There were some people who were concerned with helping to get us to this day. And I'm just hoping and praying, and I believe it's true, that we are overcoming in the process of overcoming that kind of mindset was so prevalent in years past. And I want to acknowledge those persons, if there are any of those persons present, and you know who you are, part of either one of these families. On the back of your program, it says, concerns, a special thanks to concerned citizens, Carolyn Chapman Nichols and Lonnie Nichols family. Would you all please stand, anybody who's from there? Carolyn and Philip West, Brenda, will y'all stand, and Boogie, all y'all stand. Y'all part of my family, my son. And where's Sam? My son Sam, he's high. I understand. I'm just talking, Kip. And Joyce and Barney Scobie. Is Barney Scobie Jr. here? Okay. Well, we started out as a group concerned about one particular incident in our community, and from that day we made a lot of sacrifices, and those families made a lot of sacrifices, but that day has led to this being right on time, as Ricky said. Sometimes you got to wait on the Lord, and we waited on the Lord, and I became mayor because of that. And so that's why my son probably don't even know this, but I was in the Mississippi legislature. I know so many stories, but this is one that means a lot to me. I was in the Mississippi legislature. I was serving as chairman of the Mississippi Legislative Black Caucus. We had just gotten control of the Mississippi House of Representatives as Democrats. Billy McCoy was named Speaker of the House, and he decides who all the committee chairmen are. And some people came to Jackson and said, Philip, why don't you run for mayor? And I said, I don't want to run for no mayor. And they said, please think about it. I say, whatever, I'll think about it. Then I called them a couple of weeks later and said, I don't want to run for no mayor. And I'm not going to run for mayor, I'm sorry. But here's how God works. Listen at this now. The last week, Walter Brown can tell you, and other legislators can tell you, the last week or two in the legislature, you don't come home. Okay? You're finishing up everything. You don't come home. You work through the weekend. I got a call from my wife and said, Philip, I got some bad news for you. We're talking about the last couple of weeks of the legislature. And I had told her I was not going to be running for no mayor. And she said, Carolyn Nichols passed. Carolyn Chapman Nichols passed. And she knew that would mean a lot to me. And I said, Carolyn, because my wife's name was Carolyn also. I said, Carolyn, find out when the funeral is and let me know. I thought the funeral was going to be that Saturday. the qualifying deadline for mayor was that Friday. Amen, church. So I came home to the funeral, and while in the church, thinking about Carolyn, the thought occurred to me, God, do you have me back in Natchez to qualify to run for mayor? That's the question I asked myself. And I went down finally, because it was like 4 o'clock or something like that, when the grave site was covered up, or whatever the case may be. And I went down and qualified. And when I qualified, there were 6 people already who had qualified to be the mayor for the city of Natchez. And all of them had been campaigning. And I had been in Jackson. But God works in mysterious ways. So I had the largest and the highest hill to climb. And all because of Carolyn Nichols. That's the only reason I ever became the mayor for the city of Natchez. And I know how it feels when you know you're being guided by somebody and something more than just yourself. She was the same person who called me with that complaint that has led us today to this school. Amen, church, you understand? I'm just saying, you got to understand, I gave up, and my son wanted to say a lot about me. He knows I don't want him to talk about me. He's always talking about how much I deserve and how much I've done and this and kind of, because I've been doing this. The only person who's been out on the battlefield as long as I have, that's living in this area, is Benny Thompson. When Benny Thompson gets here, you'll find out, because I'm going to introduce him. He's been working on the battlefield for about 56, 57 years. So has Philip West. Amen. But I'm not saying that for any. I told my sister, I said, you got to understand something. It's not my job to promote Philip. God left me in this position so I can promote others and help make things happen, and don't worry about getting the credit. Y'all understand? But I guess I am trying to do something, saying something. Is that Benny coming around now? Put your hands together. As I was just saying about how God works in mysterious ways, which caused me to become mayor, and I'm sitting here today and I'm introducing my son as a judge, about to introduce one of the more renowned persons in the whole, not just in Mississippi or in the United States, in the whole world, because of his role on the January 6th committee in democracy. And to think he and I got to know each other in 1980. He was the elected supervisor in Hinds County, and I was elected supervisor in Adams County. So we go way back, and now our paths have crossed again, now even more, mainly because now this is the area that he represents. We used to have hair, and we always tease each other. Both of us used to have hair, in case y'all don't know that. But Robert Johnson was supposed to introduce our guest speaker, and I'm just so amazed. I don't know how you change clothes to look so good. I told him you were going to be driving down the street changing clothes. And he said it was hard, but he took it on. But I want to introduce to you, to some, and present to many, a very distinguished person. You know, all of us have our different characteristics and how we operate, how we speak. All of us have a unique ability to be somewhat different. But many times we have a unique and dedicated person in a certain field who is so good and so committed and so to progress and all the kinds of things to help other people, and had the nerve enough to go to Tougaloo College, where all of them think they're smart. And that's true to a certain extent. Sandra McDonald went to Tougaloo. And when I tell them I went to Alcorn, they want to turn their nose up at me. But that's okay. At least I didn't flunk out the first year. I want y'all to give another warm welcome for a person who's so distinguished, not only individually, but collectively, for having all the work that he's been doing for close to 60 years. Because oftentimes, you know, we don't do that kind of thing. We may be a splash in the pan or something like that for a year or two, and then we go back to doing other things or whatever the case may be. But when you stay with something for over 50 or close to 60 years in your career, you dedicated. Please welcome our Congressman Benny Thompson.
Thank you very much. Good morning. If I told you it was a little difficult getting here, I want you to believe me now. You can change clothes in an F-150 pickup down Highway 61. So I want to get the record straight. Look, I wouldn't have missed this opportunity for all the tea in China. You know, this is one of those occasions that very few communities have an opportunity to participate in. You are cutting the ribbon on a brand new school for your children. That means that the children in this community will have bragging rights that they go to a facility that the taxpayers of this community invested in because they wanted them to be the best and brightest that Adams County has to offer. And so there was a comedian one time, I'll date myself a little bit, when he come out on his show, and when he really felt positive, he'd say how sweet it is. So when I come here this morning, it's how sweet it is for Natchez and Adams County. Now you have bragging rights that you have the best facility money can buy for your children, and that's something to be proud of. But as important is the struggle that got you here. There were some folk who didn't want it to happen, and there were others who wanted it to happen. And I'm so glad that the wanted to be happen folk won out, because we are here today in support of public education. You know, a country, a state, a city, a county is only good as its system of education. A country can't survive without educated citizens, because our children now have to compete all around the world. They can't just compete with Jefferson County or Wilkinson County. They're competing with children from France, Germany, England, all these other places. And so let me tell you, there's nothing like parents and grandparents bragging on their children. If you don't believe it, catch me when I'm dealing with my grandchildren. When little Thomas, who's now tall Thomas, tells me he got a good grade in school, I said, well, you know, you come from good stock. So there's nothing like bragging rights on your children. And so as I see the crowd here this morning, you all need to pat yourselves on the back for a job well done. I remember the old Sadie V. Thompson school back in the day. You know, we've come a long way. And so now this is Sadie V. Thompson 2.0. And so
So you now know what having good leadership is all about. You don't have to be one school on one side of town and one school on the other side of town. You just build one school. And so you have built that one school. And so our job now is to, after we cut the ribbon, is to make sure that we turn out the best and brightest that this community has, our children. Give us bragging rights. It's almost like being a Tougaloo graduate. You know, you can now say, being a graduate of this high school, y'all think y'all something, you know? That means when it rains, it doesn't leak. The air conditioner work in the summer and springtime. The heat works in the winter and all that. I see some heads nodding because I know what you've been dealing with. So now all that's forgotten because you're in a new facility, and I'm so happy to be here. But the one thing I do want to share with you is that under the Biden administration, we have put more money into public education in the history of any other administration. If you don't believe me, ask your school board. They have more money right now than they have ever had to invest in education. I talked to your chairman and vice chair of the board, and they both have said to me, you know, it's a good job, but a tough job to have when you got to decide how you're going to spend the money. And because, believe it or not, we now have a president who understands the investment in education. And I'm so happy that we have it. It's made a big difference all over the country. But more importantly, we now will have access to the internet. All our children in America will have access to broadband. So that means when they're competing with children around the world, they won't have to go to the parking lot at Walmart and get online. You know, they can come right here to this school and get online, or they can get online at home because we'll also make it affordable. So there's no reason in this community now with this level of commitment in education in terms of this facility that we can't do something real bold. That means we'll set the standard so that our children will know that you don't have to go to New York or California once you complete your education. You can come back home and you can help us because just like most communities, we export our best product, and that's our educated children. So we need to make sure that we can hold some of them. You know, I meet people all over the world who are from Mississippi. And I said, well, why are you in Kenya? Why are you in they say there's nothing to do. So mayor, supervisors, school board members, we got to create some opportunities for our children to have something to do right here at home. And as your congressperson, I'm committed to doing that. So it's not me pointing the finger. I want to make sure it happens. So we made some announcements when I was here last time. I'll make a couple more in about a week. I won't spoil this day, but there's nothing like bringing the bacon home, you know. So I want to make sure we do that. The commitment we have on opening an office here is a firm commitment. It's here. I thank the school board for working with us to give us the opportunity to house it in one of their facilities. It makes a big difference. Otherwise, you'd have to do like Congress people in the past. You got to go 100 miles to just tell somebody you got a problem. That's not the way it ought to work. When people ask you to vote for them, they ought to come to you and say, look, now that you've done it, here's what I'm going to do for you. And I promise you that as long as I'm your congressperson, I will support you, I'll support public education, and I'll support anything that this community wants to do to better itself. So again, this is the school boards and local leadership today. I'm just happy to be here. After we finish, I'll tell you what it took to get here. But trust me, it took some doing. But with Philip's cooperation, program kind of went a little longer than it should have. But look, it's a good day. And I'm so happy to be here. I'm happy to see all the leadership, the senators and others from this area, because it's a partnership. It's a partnership. Public education is our way out. The majority of young people in this country get educated at public schools. And so as taxpayers, as community people, we have to make sure that our public schools are as strong and as competitive as any other school out here. So I applaud you for that. Lastly, we have to just continue. There are a lot of things we want to do in the community. There are things in education that we need to do. There are things in the cultural arts that we need to look at. Natchez is very historic. We need to make sure that everybody understands the history of this community, good, bad, and otherwise, because it's the history. And in order to do it, we got to tell the whole story. And you are now in the process of beginning to tell the whole story. We won't be like Florida. We won't talk about slavery being something else. We're going to talk about everything that occurred. If we sold people in this community into bondage, we need to highlight that so it never, ever happens again in anybody's lifetime. So I look forward to that cultural experience for this community, because it did happen. We can't sweep it under the rug, but we can benefit from it by telling the story. And so I look forward to working with all of you in whatever your endeavors are. I compliment the school board. There's a lot of issues in communities, and they generally end up somewhere around education. So I know we'll have a good basketball team. I know we'll have a good football team. But I promise you, I'm looking for the scholars too. Thank you very much.
Boy, my walk is getting to be slower and slower. Now we can try to get through this. We slowed the program down earlier intentionally. We just didn't want y'all to know that. We wanted to make sure the congressman had a chance to get here. And I think it was well worth the wait. So next we're going to have remarks by the immediate past principal, Mr. Eric Jackson. He kind of walked out on us a little bit ago, but he's back in town to smile and take the glory of helping to get that school bill. Come on, Eric.
Good morning. I thought I was going to run from M3A by leaving Natchez, but apparently they built a school I'm moving to. Mr. McElroy. Interim Superintendent McDonald Green and Board President Amos James, I must take a point of privilege today to remind us of the road we traveled to get here. I started to say I should break out in song in my Tony Field voice. I thought we wouldn't have made it, but I'm going to let that go. As a graduate of the only class of Natchez High School, the mighty class of 1999, and the immediate past principal of Natchez High School, I have to say that today's ribbon cutting is a modern-day Brown versus Board of Education. Today's ribbon cutting, the opening of this facility, the new Natchez High School, in so many regards, can be considered just as Olivia Brown's father fought for the integration of schools with Brown. We canvassed for a bond referendum. We had an election. We battled in court over our tax dollars to get to this day. Although Brown, in theory, opened schools and ordered states to provide adequate resources and facilities for children of color, it was far from equal, and the fight continues to this day. In 2019, in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Nicole Hannon Jackson reported to many that 3 black students attended a school that books like Brown never happened. The fight continues today as we sit here today as Mississippi continues to provide inadequate funding, resulting in inferior educational opportunities, facilities, and resources to schools, creating, whether you know it or not, a racial achievement gap. And as Dr. Aquetta Butler, who I know is in the room, would say, that's another subgroup you need to start tracking. So the Natchez Adams School District Board of Trustees, under the direction of Amos James, the district under the direction of Superintendent Fred T. Butcher, educators, students, and the community said that we can no longer let our students exchange classes in the rain, being chased by skunks. They said we could no longer let students come to the open campus inviting a threat to happen. They said that we must create a school, classrooms, and renovate another school. We said we need to invest in the students of Natchez Adams County and provide facilities that keep every student dry and safe during transitions, free of skunks. And by the way, when the contractors were constructing and renovating the old Natchez High School, they were out there feeding the skunks, and I tried to warn them, but they just wouldn't listen. Free of turning the corners in the blistering cold, facilities that are clean with updated restrooms and facilities that have the technological targets, infrastructure that will enable every student and every teacher to use the internet at the same time. So today we must fight to ensure the words of the late Chief Justice Earl Warren, who some doubt was on our side, who stated in his opinion that education is perhaps the most important function of state and local governments. Mayor Gibson and the Board of Aldermen, Warren Gaines and the Board of Supervisors, your Governor Tate Reeves and the state legislators, and all of our local and state leaders, Representative Cockerham, Robert Johnson III, Sam C. Mims IV, Senators Albert and Kevin Butler, the ball is now in your court. Dare we say we have an elementary school in the making. There were many long nights, 12 and 1 o'clock in the morning, getting a call from Mr. Butcher. Mr. Jackson, what you doing? Did we measure that square footage? There were many long fights of battling with Keith and Marco and the architects to get here. There were many long nights, and again, I thought I was running from them, but I ran right into them. So as I close every day as principal, I shared with students leaving, and although I'm no longer working at the Capitol, it is the Capitol, and Phil's trying to get some money off of this, so Ms. McDonald Green, you better watch him. Bulldogs, we need to remember that we are the best. We're better than the rest. We are the mighty, mighty Bulldogs. Have a great and productive evening.
Sometimes those people sign contracts and then something happened, they want to break those contracts. Brother Butcher, can you explain to us how that's done? Let's give Eric another round of applause. Very good words of wisdom. Now, before I present to you this next person who's serving as our interim superintendent, who went to Tougaloo. Where is she? Oh, okay. I went to Alcorn. I forgot where I was sitting. But I want to say this as a part of the historical record, Brother Thompson. We have 7 schools now in operation in Natchez, in the Natchez Public School District. For the first time, and probably the only time this will ever happen, of those 7 schools, all of their head principals, except one, are women. So we got one guy left, Cleveland Moore, and he's over at Devotech. And I believe Zion's just going to make him a mechanic. But I'm very proud because that represents how far we've come. Even though, and it is going to hopefully tell Eric and others like him, y'all better step it up because these women know how to work and they are dedicated. And all you got to do is look at Miss Joyce Mathis. Every time you see her, she's just limping and limping, but she limps very often, all the time. She's still working. Women are good and they're dedicated, but the person I'm about to present to you, I only met her, I guess 6, 7 years ago. By the way, Amos and I have been on the board ever since we brought in Mr. Butcher. Okay, I know y'all give him all the credit for everything, but that ain't the way it went. Okay. And that's the truth, and I hope Amos or somebody will say that. You need to set y'all straight. Okay, Mr. Butcher did his job. I've told him many times, and I've told other people, he's one of the hardest working persons I've ever been around. But a lot of times we had to set him straight and put him on the right track. And we did that. And I'm so glad that look, Amos, I hope you don't get insulted by this. We even did it with a man in a wheelchair. But I'm just saying that has happened. So it's good for us to know that it takes a village and it takes a team to do everything. Okay? And some like McElroy 3A. I said, well, where did they get this design from? I never saw this design. There he is back there. Look at him. He still got his hair cocked to the side, and he got a wife out there, cocked to the side, and his wife out there. She's real pretty, and she's a real Christian, so you men can get that out of your head. She's real Christian, as includes you, Pastor Melvin Jackson. I see you over there getting down laughing. I mean, that's what I mean, Mayor White. What I call it? Mayor Jackson. Well, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Well, y'all have to excuse me. I'm real old. I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to bring on Xander because we're going to move it real fast. Amos not going to talk long, and Fred's not going to talk long. We do have some punch and cake, but that's all we got. We spent too much money on doing this other stuff. But let me tell y'all this because I think it's real. I just love to say this, and I've shared it with a few people. When my wife and I were living together, and she was alive and what have you, we were the Lakers fans, top notch, and we loved Kobe Bryant. And we made sure we watched, I guarantee you, my family probably watched 99% of the time games that the Lakers played. But we were watching TV, and Kobe Bryant was in the camp and went over on Kobe Bryant's wife. And she had a baby. And my wife said, look at that, Philip. That Kobe Bryant, his wife, and his baby. The baby must have been 6 months old, something like that. And I said, well, she said, yeah, right there. And then she said, that ain't Kobe's baby. I said, what you mean? She said, I'm telling you, that ain't Kobe's baby. I said, why you say that, Carolyn? She said, because that baby don't look nothing like Kobe. I said, what? She said, I'm telling you, that ain't Kobe's baby, and he better have a blood test done. And I said, okay, but I don't think you right. I said, Cal, then I thought about it. I have 2 sons. I said, Cal, one of my sons don't look like me. And you know what she said? You better have a blood test done. Please put your hands together for our interim superintendent of education, a product of the Natchez Adams County School District, Tougaloo College, and I know she's going to do a tremendous job because she's real smart. She's real smart, and what's more important, she cares about children. That's what's most important.
It is absolutely a great day to be a bulldog. Now, I am a ram. Just let's get that straight. But I also got that bulldog blue and gold blood running through my veins. One of my favorite sayings, things to say now is, great things are happening in Natchez Adams School District. You can wake me up at any time of the night, and I assure you I can run down for you some of the great things that are happening in our school district. And today, this facility that we're enjoying is a testament of the great things that are happening for our school district and for this community. Let me start by saying thank you to the Board of Trustees for having a vision for our children. Having a vision oftentimes leads you into some troubled waters. But we have to remember the vision is not given to everyone. The vision is often given to select people for a specified time that other people can't see. Who would have ever imagined that in the bean field there was a school? Not just any school, but a multi-million-dollar school. Thank you, Board of Trustees, for standing even when the waters were high, even when the storm was fierce. Thank you for remaining dedicated to the vision that you all had for our children and our community. The next person I want to thank often gets, he doesn't like the limelight at all. But Attorney Keenley, we thank you. You all, Bruce has a hard job. He has to deal with the 5 board members. He had to deal with Mr. Butcher. And anybody who's ever worked for Mr. Butcher, Lord help. But one thing that I know about Bruce, he also has a love for Natchez Adams School District. He made certain that at every step, at every turn, that we may remain consistent with the legal guidelines and gave the board and the superintendent and district leadership the best possible advice he knew and could find in order to make certain that this facility became real. Thank you, Bruce. This next person also doesn't like the limelight, and I'm so thankful he is no longer my boss, so he can't get me more. This building is a labor of love. The board had the vision, but they wrote the vision, but somebody had to run with the vision to make certain that it happened. This person made certain that he probably knows the number of screws in this building. He probably knows the number of 2x4s. He probably knows the number of studs. I'm quite certain Keith and Marco, I know they got tired because we've had some knockdown, drag out, long meetings to make certain that this building happened. At any given time, any time of the day. Now, Mr. Jackson, you all thought he was being comical about 12 o'clock. He wasn't. Mr. Butcher does his best thinking around 3 o'clock a.m. And when he thinks that you better know you're going to get a text or a phone call, he was serious. Anytime that you drove this campus, from the ground breaking to the dirt being turned, he was here. Not one time a day, not 2 times a day, multiple times a day. Mr. Butcher, people often don't understand, and I know you're Mr. Butcher, but you were the right man at the right time for this job. Because Tony didn't know anything about no construction, y'all. And I don't want to build a house anymore. I want mine's already built. Because this is a labor of love. I'll give you a quick story and I'll move on. The other day after Mr. Butch has left, although he's not technically left because he's volunteered his time to make certain that this project is finished. But we've been tasked now that we have to meet with, Tony and I have to meet with Keith and Marco. We don't know anything about construction, but he left a good pattern, so we're going to follow the pattern. And the other day, Tony was out there, and Mr. Butcher, I think they bush hog everything in the front. I was like, man, you don't know if that's a bush hog, a tractor, a lawnmower, or nothing, but you sounded good. You sounded good. So thank you, Mr. Butcher. This community thanks you. Our children thank you. I thank you. The day that our children are born, and even as we prepare for their arrival, every parent begins to dream of how to give the world to their children. I know that I did. We dream of placing them in an environment that promotes their growth and their development. We dream of keeping them safe from threats and from harms that they don't even know about or even aware of. We dream of providing them with experiences and opportunities to ensure their success in whatever they dare to dream and even dare to believe that they can do or anything that they aspire to do. As a community, we dare to believe and dream the same for every child within our community. Although our tasks, our responsibilities, our roles, our job assignments are varied, all of us must be a part of the same team with the same vision and the same goal. This new facility is a testament of a continued commitment to educate not some children, but every child that enters the door. The public school district, we're not here to compete with the private schools. We're not here to compete with the parochial schools. We're not here to compete with the newest charter school. Now, y'all know I'm public school pro, but we're not here to compete. We all must be partners in this process to educate our children. As visitors now pass through this main thoroughfare, they can now see a complex that exemplifies our area's commitment to educating all children. Was there a fight? Yes, it was. But today the fight is over. The building is here. Now we should have a renewed focus to move forward as one team with one vision and one goal. Natchez history, Natchez renewal, Natchez growth, Natchez development, and Natchez's survival will hinge on all of us continuing to move forward to ensure that every child in Adams County and the city of Natchez is afforded the opportunity to learn and develop in facilities that will help them be prepared to compete with students in this region, students in this state, students across this nation, and students around the world. To our students who are here today, we are here today because of you. This facility exists because of you. So as you walk these halls, as you move throughout the classrooms, as you visit the library, the robotics lab, the media lab, things that those of us who've come before could only imagine it happening somewhere else, now that opportunity is here for you. So as you enjoy the amenities of this facility, know that every area says you are loved, you are valued, you are important, you are significant, and there is an entire community that is cheering and rooting for your success as you move forward. Remember, this is Bulldog Nation. We are one team with one vision and one goal. Thank you.
Okay, we do want to make sure we haven't overlooked some of our special guests. Did we recognize everybody on the platform here, all of those elected officials?
We would like to recognize our,
The president of Alcorn.
of course, that's my boss, y'all. Interim President Tracy Cook, Dr. Cook. I had to acknowledge him. If I didn't, I probably wouldn't have a job tomorrow, the rest of the day. We'll talk about that. Okay. Our Chief of Police, Carol Green. Our Sheriff, Travis Patton. Let's hit McElroy again. Man, your hair. I want my hair like yours.
Tony Gaylor.
And Attorney Tony Gaylor. Marco Polo. And anyone else all the preachers that have prayed for us, stand. Melvin White, Connor, Reverend Green, Hunter, let's see, Washington, help me out, Philip, Marvell, Scott, Brown, O'Quinn, Lewis, Thomas, and Wynn. I can't say it again. And Reverend John Scott.
We also want to acknowledge the presence of Mr. Keith Bingham, I'm sorry, our project manager for the, is he out in the audience somewhere?
And we also have representatives from Colin, our neighboring community college. Any other elected officials, please stand. Hey, yes. Larry Hughes, Tony Heidelberg, Eva Givens, Shamika Collins. Just because I have on glasses doesn't mean I can see. And Brandon Lewis. And let's not forget Representative Cat Eye. Let's give everyone a round of applause. At this time, we'll have closing remarks from immediate past Superintendent Fred T. Butcher, and afterwards the president of the Natchez Adams District School Board, Mr. Amos James. I'm so glad we are NASD. I'm so glad we are NASD. I'm so glad we are NASD, singing glory, hallelujah. I'm so glad. Mr. Butcher, y'all.
I promise you I will not be very long because before I left my seat, Elaine said it's almost time to go to lunch. Okay? But there are a few things that I would really would like to say. First of all, back during the time that Eisenhower was our president, he had a dream of building interstate highways throughout the nation to connect everything together. John Kennedy had a dream to put the first man on the moon. Dr. King had a dream to break down all the barriers in this country so we could all live together and do the same thing you're talking about, Ms. McDonald. Barack Obama had a dream that everyone should be afforded the opportunity to have health care. Okay? Those are folks that's far from us. We know about them, but we can't put our hand on them. The next 3 or 4 people, I want to ask you to stand for a minute, okay? Because we can physically put our hand on these people, okay? And I'll say that each one of them bring a different characteristic to the board. Chances are, I think that my philosophy and Mr. West's philosophy is basically the same, but somehow or another we haven't found the right avenue in order to go down the same road at the same time, okay? But I met with Mr. James and Mr. West some 7 years ago, and they asked me to come over and be the superintendent for 6 months. And I told them, I said, I need to go home and talk it over with Elaine and Lisa and Brandy because I have retired 3 times already, Senator. So she said that for 6 months we can probably live with that. So 6 months ended up being 7 years and 6 months, okay? So I didn't get put out this time, but I can't take on any more jobs right now, okay? Believe me. But before I ask them to stand, I want to ask my lovely wife for 53 years to please stand. The lady next door to her is a true friend of mine because we worked together, we went to Southern together, we met each other in the 4th grade in 1959. She's like my sister. I always tell Dorita when she put me out, I'll tell Elaine when she put me out, I can go stay with Dorita. Dorita, please stand. And Elaine, you know she's from Mississippi, but her Mississippi connection goes far and deep. You got Ruth Walker back there who worked at McLaurin along with her husband, Kenny Ray. Please stand. And for those of you who know, Elaine don't have any blood brothers and sisters, but she have 2 young ladies that she said that she was older than they were, and as a result, she kind of helped them around. One of those young ladies are here today, and she's married to the bonding attorney, Mr. Gaylor. So I'm going to ask Margaret and Donna to please stand. If they in Birmingham. Thank you. Now let's go back to the dream. There was an author by the name of Langston Hughes, and he wrote a poem, A Dream Deferred. Okay? This board decided not to have their dream deferred. They decided to put the shoulder to the wheel and work very hard. I'm not going to go through a lot of the things that's already been said because I think the judge really hit the nail on the head there, okay? And I also think that Mr. Jackson, along with Ms. McDonald, they were very poignant about their comments. But Mr. James is the hardest working man in a wheelchair I've ever seen in my life. I met Mr. James when I was athletic director, and at that time, you know, if a team played somewhere, I was there. When I get there, he's sitting up in the stand. I said, now, you know, I got to change my way because a man in a wheelchair can beat me here. I'm doing something wrong. Okay? But he works very hard. He mans the telephone, and he's very, very compassionate. Sometimes to a fault, I think. Okay? But Mr. James has done a very good job in keeping his board together and working very hard. Dr. Robinson, please stand. Dr. Robinson is our statistical person. She analyzes stuff. And sometimes she get bogged down in the paralysis of analysis, analyzing stuff, okay? But I've enjoyed working with you as well. Dr. Bunch, remain standing, Dr. Robinson, please. Dr. Bunch. I respect Dr. Bunch, and I think everybody on the board respects Dr. Bunch because she has had an opportunity to look at education not only here in America, but also across the sea. Basically, she's our academic person. She believes in academics up and down. And I can say this now because can't nobody hold me responsible. You coaches, if you want to get a raise, you better make them kids make some 25 and 30s on ACT. Okay? I can tell you that. Now, you might be able to get by without winning, but if you can get your players and your participants to do 24, 25 on ACT, she'll go to the back where you get a raise. Right, Dr. Bunch? Mr. West is the most vocal member on the board. All the time. Okay? But Mr. West is very, very compassionate. You know, whenever we would have an appeal, I sat next to Ms. McDonald all the time, and when Mr. West and I kind of go at it, she always hit me on the foot. But now, once he get through talking and go to crying, I write Ms. McDonald a note. We've lost this one. There's no doubt about that. You know, he go to wiping them tears and talk about, you know, what you need to do for children. But he's really a child advocate. He really is. Ms. Ware, bring a lot of spirit and spunk and new ideas to this board. You know, the biggest mistake she made was perhaps going to Alcorn, and then the second biggest mistake is working for Alcorn. But I have learned. But she brings a wealth of knowledge to the board that helps to update our philosophy and update where we are. And I don't care what kind of organization you have, you must continue to make changes in order to make it at this day and time. The last person, Ms. Wall. Ms. Wall, I don't think she's here, but she had to leave. Okay, but she did serve on the board for a while. And as a result, she was very instrumental also. Now, we talked about the dream of all these other people. When I came to the board, and I've received the credit for being this, you know, for this being my idea, that's not the way it was. I never in life want to take credit for nobody else's dream. I've had too many of my own. When I came to the board, they were talking about remodeling the old school at the cost of $40 million. $40 million. Okay? I know over in Louisiana, we had just built a gym for about $3.5 million. So what I asked this board to do, let me call the architect that did the football field when I was athletic director and have him to come in and do a plan for us. Mr. McElroy, would you stand, please? Okay. Thank you. Mr. McElroy, I called him on a Tuesday, and him and Mr. Cooser was working for him at the time. They came down the next Tuesday. We sat down with Mr. Jackson and some of the other employees. We told him what we thought we wanted. The mistake we made was we gave him the budget. You know, that was a mistake, because he liked all this fancy stuff. When you go to the library or you go to the cafeteria, look in the ceiling. I tried to dump that because I thought it cost too much money. But the ladies on the board saw it. I lost again. Okay? But Mr. McElroy, I know that he has been very instrumental. I know he's been tired of me sometimes. Mr. West, don't look at your watch when your son's up here. You look at your watch then. Okay? But I must say that Mr. McElroy have always been very supportive of us. And I would say that with Kayla and Preston, they're doing a great job. And Ms. McElroy, please stand. Miss McElroy, if I can't catch up with him, I can call her, and she don't say, wait, I just hold on, because she can find him. But we want to say that we appreciate all of you. Now, Marco, stand up. Marco is from Vocal. Now, with Marco, I've had to lay my religion down a few times. A few times. But he's one of them good South Louisiana Catholics, okay? So, you know, Catholic and Baptist don't mix too good. But Marco has always been, to me, Marco is the hammer driver. I knew that if I needed to get something done, if I needed to raise a little hell, call Marco. But Vocal have been very instrumental, and they have been very supportive as well in this entire project. And Keith came on in the middle of the screen, so to speak. Keith, stand up, please. Keith is the person who has been here every day, or at least 3 days a week. He's the face-to-face person. Okay? Keith had more like a quiet demeanor, and he liked to work things out diplomatically. And sometimes when I get angry, I'm not very diplomatic then. Okay? And you say, well, why are you not very diplomatic? I wasn't diplomatic because I'd be damned if this building was about 14 months behind schedule. 14 months. See, I was supposed to retire 14 months ago. So all these things delayed my retirement. One other person I need to make sure I mention, she's not here, is Ms. Thelma Newsom. Ms. Newsom was always that person on the board to make us go back to the policy, what the policy says and those kind of things. But just as JFK, Eisenhower, Barack Obama, and Martin Luther King had dreams, these folks had dreams that would touch the people in this community, touch our students. And I want to say this about Sheriff Patton. Stand up, Sheriff. When we were trying to get the taxpayers that failed, he went on radio and said, hey, I need a jail, but we need a school worse. That's what he said. Because he was smart enough to know if we could build better schools, we could build less jails. We are staying in a community whereby it's easier to build a jail in a prison than it is to build a hospital in a school. Something is wrong with that picture. And we are responsible for that. We are responsible because we have to send more people to Washington with some common sense. We send too many people to Washington that's already making $1 million and trying to find a way to make another $1 million. Let's send some common people who can make some common decisions about our lives and about the lives of our children. I've enjoyed working for this school district. I've enjoyed even the hard times. I've enjoyed everything. And it's time for me to go home and do something else. I was about to say go home, but that's a mistake too. No, After 4 weeks, now I'm going to be seeking some kind of employment after Thanksgiving, okay? After Thanksgiving, I'll be on the market. But sincerely, to all of the Board of Supervisors, the mayor and aldermen, to the board members, all of the representatives and all, everybody I've worked with in the Natchez Adams School District, I want you to know it's been a positive experience for me and my family. And I want to say from the standpoint of my family members, Elaine has dictated everything to her girls. You can understand that. Brandon is more like Elaine. Lisa is more like me. So I want to also thank them publicly for their support because of the fact, after 53 years of working, it has to be a family affair. Thank you so very much.
Good job. Thank you. We're almost at the end, and now we're going to have the closing remarks also from our board chairman. Oh, any other board members here from any of the other counties, surrounding counties, school board members? Any of them in the audience? Oh, yeah. Oh, hey, what y'all hiding over there? Two fine ladies, huh? I know they from Claiborne County. Y'all ain't got to tell me. He done told me don't look at my watch. Now y'all telling me what county they from. Good gracious, I know I'm on my last page. Benny, I told somebody, I said, Benny and I around the same age, but Benny looks a lot more healthy than I look, and he looks like he has a lot more energy. And they say, why you think that? I say, well, I don't think he drinks and smoke like I do. But I want to ask everybody to put your hands together. This person has served as our board chairman ever since I came on the board. He asked me to, I didn't even know him. He said, I want to be president of the board. And I voted for him, and he's been the president ever since. But he's so dedicated to what he does. And I want to tell the street committee, y'all don't have nothing on him. He knows everybody's business, and very rarely do he get it wrong. I can't tell you he can't share with us because it's against the law. Some of the stuff he tells on us, you see Pastor White laughing, he must know what I'm talking about. But he knows everything. I said, how in the world does Amos know everything about this? He know who kin to who used to be kin to who. Okay. And that kind of thing. So I'm telling you, he remind me, don't forget about Mr. Gaylor. Tony, I thought they'd recognize you. Stand up, Tony. We'll do it again. Tony Gaylor, our financial person for this particular project. As a matter of fact, he came up with the idea in terms of how we could get it done because the other proposal that had failed on the referendum, the $45 million bond issue. But in any case, what was I talking about, Mayor? Oh, I was talking about, okay. Now, Dr. Robinson said she ready to go. Now she done made us feel. Now she told me something, she ready to go. Chandler Russ, you know how they do you. When they get through with their turn, they gone. Now Butcher done put me in place. But Amos, I want you to know that I appreciate your dedication to the district. I want you to know that I know that you've learned a lot since you've been on the board. You've learned how to govern, how to facilitate, and sometimes you got in arguments with superintendent, told him off. You did it behind closed doors though, but you didn't want the public to know what you was doing. And I do it, and don't care where I am. And that's why they don't like me and they like you. But in any case, please put your hands together for the only board president probably in the state, and certainly maybe even throughout the nation, who works as hard as he does from his seat and does a very good job, Brother Amos James.
All right. Good morning. I have to make an announcement. Mr. Davis wanted me to announce that a white Acura needed to move. Belongs to Tawana Williams. Okay. All right. I made the announcement. I would like to give all of you a little advice. If they put you on program, ask not to be last. It's hard being last. They put me behind supervisors and aldermen and mayors and superintendents, judges, and the worst thing, they put me behind a U.S. congressman who was on CNN for about a year as chairman of the January 6th committee. Don't be last. On behalf of the Natchez Avenue School Board, I would like to thank all elected officials, U.S., state, city, and county. I would also like to thank all of you who are in attendance today, whether in person or via live streaming, for taking the time to celebrate this great occasion with us. 8 years ago, the thought of building a new school was just a dream. A year later, a young man by the name of Philip West came along and gave us some history on the need for a new high school. During that conversation, he shared that Natchez hadn't built a public school in over 60 years. With this newfound knowledge, the wheels started turning for the Board of Trustees, Thelma Newsom, Philip West, Cynthia Smith, Dr. Brenda Robinson, Dr. Renee Davis Walls, and I started putting the plan in action. Later during the journey, we were joined by Dr. Diane Bunch and LaWarn Grenier Ware. The board gave the plan to Fred T. Butcher, and with the approval of the board, he started the process. We began meeting with Boca, our project managers, M3A, our architect, Tony Geller, our bonding attorney, Warren Greenlee, our financial advisor, and Don Barron, our contractor. Look at what we have accomplished. I would like to remind you, while we celebrate the building of a new high school, we also remodeled the middle school with the same team, except construction was done by Paul Jackson and Son. I would like to use a phrase, we did it. I would like for you all to say, we did it. We did it. Yeah. When I say we did it, I don't mean the Board of Trustees and the superintendent. I don't mean the mayor and the Board of Aldermen. I don't mean the Board of Supervisors. I'm referring to all of you who are in here right now and others who was not able to be here. I'm referring to those who pay taxes, spend money in our stores and restaurants. I'm talking about those who spend money as they travel along Highway 84 and 61 and spend money at those venues. I'm referring to tourists and those who participate in the pilgrimage events. I speak of all those local and across the United States who have been praying for us. This is why I say we did it. Oh, this thing is bigger than us. You see, God had this thing already worked out. All he did was pick us to see it through. So when I say we did it, we should never forget who really did it. I thank you in advance for your continued support and prayers for the Natchez Adams School District. Thank you.
Wait a Tony, I don't know how to handle this stuff up here. Come on, LaWarn, you know better than me. Just stoop down like this. Stoop down? Can I get up? Okay, all right. Look, we'd like to ask all of the Board of Supervisors, Board of Aldermen to come down front here. Tony Geller, Marco, I want y'all to come down front. The two judges. Yeah, we'll work it out. Come on. Dr. Bunch and Dr. Robinson, y'all need to. Okay. We're gonna cut the ribbon. Just yeah. You're gonna have to go through there, down the thing there. I guess we better get on that because you and I are gonna be in the middle. But I gotta help you out. See, you're gonna be in the middle. But I'm gonna line it out. Oh, so you want everybody? No, not everybody. But it's mostly everybody. Tell them there's punch and cake in the cafeteria. Now we can view the school.
Visitors, we have student ambassadors stationed throughout the school who will help guide you on your tour. You may exit to the right or the left of the stage.